Hey everybody, it's Phantom321 here, bringing you some more Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 Wi-Fi battles. This is a UU match I got against someone by the name of ThatDerp from the Smogon Wi-Fi Battle Finder. This match is a really competitive match, came down to the wire, so yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and begin the match and let you guys enjoy the match. For the beginning of the match, I didn't know what Pokemon to switch out into, but at this point I was kind of playing it risky here, and I was predicting him to start off with his Registeel, so that's why I went ahead and started off with my Nidoking, and that actually did end up happening. I'm just gonna go for the Earth Power. I was kind of hoping he didn't switch, and he doesn't switch, and that Earth Power is gonna heavily cripple his Registeel, so that's really good. He's gonna go for the Curse this turn, and that's not really gonna matter for his Registeel because Nidoking did take out a chunk of his health, and Nidoking does outspeed this Registeel, so yeah, it's actually pretty good for me. I probably should have over-predicted him to go ahead and switch out, but I didn't want to over-predict really early in the match, and he's going to go ahead and go out into his Zapdos because Zapdos can easily, or well, the Earth Power doesn't affect it. I decided to stay in, but yeah, I knew my Nidoking could live a Hidden Power from the Zapdos, and he does go for the Hidden Power. That's heavily going to cripple my Nidoking, and I'm just going to go for the Sludge Wave, and I'm hoping that does a lot of damage to the Zapdos, hopefully enough to KO it, and as you're about to see here, it isn't enough to KO it. I'm going to go ahead and switch out because I have a feeling that I'm going to need to sacrifice my Nidoking later on in the match, so I'm just going to go ahead and go out into Umbreon because Umbreon can take any move that Zapdos throws at it. He's going to go for another Hidden Power, and that didn't do anything to my Umbreon, so yeah, Umbreon's a really good Pokemon in my opinion. But yeah, now for his next move, he's just going to go for the Roost, and I know what he's trying to do at this point. What he is trying to do is basically sort of kind of stall, or he's trying to basically use my Umbreon so he can go ahead and get Zapdos back to full HP, which kind of sucks because basically my Nidoking did absolutely nothing. I went for the payback this turn, and the payback ended up doing a decent amount of damage. He's just going to go for the Roost, and he's getting back a little bit of health every turn if I keep going for the payback, so that kind of sucks that he's kind of basically using my Umbreon to go ahead and set up on it. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and decide to go for another payback. And for this next move, I'm kind of deciding whether or not to go ahead and switch out, but I do decide to go ahead and switch out, and I'm just going to go out into Porygon 2. Porygon 2 is really bulky thanks to the Eviolites, and with a download, it's going to go ahead and raise my attack, which kind of sucks because, well, Porygon's attack isn't the best, but yeah, he's just going to go for the Roost, and that kind of sucks because, well, now he's almost at full HP, so that's really threatening. He's going to go ahead and switch out into his next Pokemon, which is going to go ahead and be his Milotic. Milotic, in my opinion, was the Pokemon I was afraid of the most. But yeah, he's just gonna go for the Ice Beam, or I'm just gonna go for the Ice Beam, and that doesn't end up doing much on his Milotic, which kind of sucks. But yeah, he's gonna go for the Toxic, and that's kind of bad because, well, I don't want my Porygon to get poisoned. But yeah, I'm just gonna go for the Thunderbolt, and I'm hoping this does a decent amount of damage to his Milotic, but it doesn't end up doing much damage to this thing. So, well, Porygon 2 isn't doing much to this Milotic, so he's kind of walling me at this point, and I am poisoned, so I'm definitely going to go ahead and switch out because I know the poison's going to rack up on me eventually. I'm just going to go out into Nidoking, and, well, he's just going to go for the Recover, so that kind of sucks because, well, he just got all his HP back. Most of his team's just kind of stalling my team, which kind of sucks. I'm just going to go for my best move, which is the Sludge Wave, and I'm hoping that does a decent amount of damage to his Milotic, but it doesn't end up doing much damage. And he's just going to finish off my Nidoking with a Scald, and that's going to go ahead and be the end of my Nidoking, so that kind of sucks, well, because I want the Nidoking to have a little bit more action in this match. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and go out into my Honchkrow. I'm hoping that I can take down this Milotic. I'm just going to go for the Substitute because I was predicting him to go for the Recover. I'm trying to go for another sweep with my Honchkrow this match, but yeah, he's just going to go ahead and end up going for the Scald, which kind of sucks because he basically broke my Substitute, and I was kind of hoping he would go for the Recover so I can get a free Substitute up. But what can you do? I'm just going to go straight up for the Brave Bird this turn, and I'm hoping this is enough to KO this Milotic, and I'm hoping it is, and it is enough to KO this Milotic, so that's really good because that's a relief because, well, Milotic was the most powerful, or the most threatening Pokemon on his team in my opinion. I was actually fearing this thing because I didn't have much to actually counter the Milotic. But yeah, now he's going to go ahead and switch out into his Rhyperior, and that name is really inappropriate. But yeah, I'm just going to go for the Sucker Punch, and I'm just sacrificing my Honchkrow at this point. That did a decent amount of damage to his Rhyperior after a Moxie, but yeah, he's just gonna go for the Ice Punch, and that's easily gonna finish off my Honchkrow, which kind of sucks. But yeah, now he's just gonna go ahead and, or I'm gonna go ahead and go out into my Porygon 2 because, well, Porygon 2 does know the Ice Beam. The download's gonna raise my special attack, so that's really good. That's actually what I needed because Porygon's special attack is amazing. He's just gonna go ahead and go out into his Registeel. Now, I went for the Ice Beam, and that isn't going to do much damage to his Registeel, which kind of sucks. But yeah, Registeel does resist it, and it is really bulky. So yeah, for his next move, I'm just deciding to stay in, and I'm just gonna go for the Thunderbolts. He's gonna go for the Curse, and he's basically trying to set up on my Porygon, but that isn't gonna basically work out too well for him. I guess he was predicting me to switch, but I'm not gonna go ahead and switch out. I'm just gonna go for the Thunderbolts, and I'm hoping it does a decent amount of damage now that my special attack is increased, and it is enough to basically be able to 2-hit KO it when he was at really low HP. So that's actually really good. I'm just gonna go for the Thunderbolts, and that's easily gonna be able to KO his Registeel, so that's really good because I took down 2 of his walls, his Milotic and his Registeel. So I'm doing pretty well right now. Now he's going to go ahead and switch out into his Heracross. I didn't know what to go ahead and switch out into because I don't have much to take his close combat, but I'm just going to go ahead and go out into the Heracross of my own, and I'm hoping it doesn't do much damage on my Heracross, but yeah, it doesn't end up doing much damage, so that's actually really good. But right here, his Flame Orb is going to kick in, so that's really bad because now his attack is raised, I believe. So I'm just going to go for the close combat now that his defense dropped, and I'm hoping this is enough to maybe 2-hit KO it, and it is. But now that my defense dropped, well, the Flame Orb kicked in, he's just going to be able to finish off my Heracross with a Facade, so that kind of sucks. I am a Choice Scarf Heracross, by the way, so, and yeah, I just thought I'd point that out. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and go out into Victini because Victini cannot outspeed this thing because now I know that this thing isn't Choice Scarfed, and I'm just gonna go for the V-Create, and that's easily gonna be able to take down his Heracross. In fact, it was kind of an overkill, but yeah, what can you do? Now for his next move, he's going to go ahead and switch out into his next Pokemon, and he's going to go ahead and switch out into his Rhyperior because, well, V-Create isn't going to do enough damage to KO this Rhyperior. I'm just going to go ahead and go out into Umbreon. I'm hoping Umbreon can live a move from this Rhyperior, and I'm hoping it's not enough to 2-hit KO this thing, but it is enough to basically 2-hit KO this thing. That Earthquake did a lot of damage, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm just going to go for the Protect just to see what he goes for this turn, and I see that he's just going for the Earthquake, so he's basically trying to go ahead and basically eliminate my Umbreon from this match. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and sacrifice it. I went for the Heal Bell this turn just so I can get rid of my Porygon 2's Poison because I had a feeling I was gonna go ahead and end up using it later on in the match. He's just gonna go for the Earthquake, and that's gonna be able to easily destroy my Umbreon, so that kind of sucks. I'm just gonna go ahead and go out into Porygon 2. I believe I'm down to my Porygon 2 and my Victini. I think those are my 2 final Pokemon. But yeah, I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam, and I did get my special attack raise, so that's really good. The Ice Beam is going to be enough to KO his Rhyperior, so that's really good. For his next move, he's going to go ahead and switch out into his next Pokemon, and I kind of forgot the name of this thing, which kind of sucks, but yeah. I'm just going to go for the Recover because I didn't think he could hit me that much, but yeah, he's just going to go for the Mega Horn, and that is going to do a lot of damage to my Porygon too. I was actually shocked on how much damage that did because I do have the Eviolite. I made a mistake here. I went for the Ice Beam, so that's going to cost me my Porygon, and that thing didn't lose too much damage, so that's kind of bad because, well, I'm down to my final Pokemon, which is going to go ahead and be Victini. I know this is kind of risky, but I'm just going to go for the V-Create, and I'm hoping that I can KO this thing, which I most likely will because Victini's V-Create is amazing. But the thing I was worried about is his Zapdos. I'm not sure if I can outspeed the Zapdos after a V-Create, but I still decided to go for it just to kind of, well, I guess I was kind of being risky at this point. But yeah, he's just going to go ahead and switch on to his final Pokemon, which is going to go ahead and be a Zapdos. I'm going to go for the V-Create, and I did manage to outspeed the Zapdos, so that's a relief because if I didn't, he would have easily one-hit KO'd my Victini. And after the V-Create, that's easily going to be enough to KO his Zapdos, and that's the end of the match. So if you liked the video, please rate the video, comment, and subscribe.